What's going on, my super fam? Okay, so Mavuika and Emilie's banner has been officially announced. Interestingly, while we did kinda guess that Xiangling is going to be here, which is, not too much of a surprise. As usual, we're going to be touching on the banner themselves as well as providing you some of the consideration before you guys actually go ahead and pull, because I know that even though Mavuika is basically really good, there are still some consideration, especially, future patches as well as new character are going to be coming. Mavuika is going to be coming back soon, and I know that many of you are excited for her. So if you're planning to swipe for pulling, then don't forget to check out Loot Bar. If you know me, I've been recommending you guys Loot Bar before, since you can always save almost a 25% on all of your top-ups. With over 100,000 orders and so many good reviews at this point. And by the way, this also applies to PS5 and Xbox user who can place orders through Loot Bar. You can be sure that Loot Bar is trustworthy. Here you can see my order receipts of all of my top-ups that I have done. And for those who are going for the highest package when topping up, there's also a limited discount options available once every version. So guys, be sure to check out Loot Bar through the link in my description, as it can be a great way for you to save your money, especially if you are topping up a large amount. So first off is Mavuika. Well, I don't think I need to do any kind of advertisement toward Mavuika, because yeah, I'm pretty sure many of you, especially those of you who haven't got Mavuika, will probably have been saving up for her. So yes, if you have already decided to go for her, I really do wish you good luck. Honestly, I don't have too much of a downside regarding Mavuika for you guys to actually consider, because overall, when it comes to the top tier DPS damage, yes, Mavuika is still the top of the top. She is a pyro character, still going to be able to do really well with the end game content, considering at least 2 of the bosses right now are weak to pyro. Not to mention, I don't know how much of a importance pyro character are going to be coming up into 6.0 whenever we hit new region, but overall, she being such a good character, not to mention the amount of investment you require to invest into her, it's basically just free to play level. I've always been using my Mavuika as a free to play, well, not entirely, because I do use a Serpent Spine, but she has access to a lot of free-to-play claymore options, and overall, as long as you fit her into a decent team, she's going to be able to clear you most of the content rather well, and that's just a fact about Mavuika, right? Now honestly, one of the few considerations regarding Mavuika only is that, first of all, it's either you don't like her playstyle, because yeah, I am not a fan of her playstyle in any way, because hopping onto a bike, doing some normal attack, and then holding your charge attack for her to do a motorbike cycle, is it really too pleasing compared to Skirk? I know that many of you may have skipped Skirk to actually go ahead and pull for Mavuika, but gameplay does plays a role whenever you are deciding to pull for a character. Other than that, well, even though she is a good pyro character, it doesn't mean that there aren't any other good DPS character that are in competition with her, right? Especially in terms of pyro, even though Alekino isn't quote-unquote top tier as Mavuika, but overall, Alekino is still an absolutely amazing character when it comes to pyro DPS, not to mention other really nice DPS character that you potentially have on your account. So really do consider that. The only thing, if you already have a lot of DPS character, then Mavuika may be a skip many of the time, since we don't know what kind of 6.0 new character are going to be coming. But if the newer endgame content that requires you a 3 teams for you to clear the content, and you're having a bit of trouble with a really good third DPS, then well, obviously Mavuika is always going to be there for you guys to try and pull. Up next, we have our Emilie. Now, if I am not mistaken, I don't think Emilie has got a rerun, right? Well, as far as I'm concerned, Emilie hasn't got much of a banner, and considering that it's already 5.7, I think her release was like 4.8, like the final patch of Fontaine, and this is already almost the final patch of Natlin. Just goes to show how little of importance Emilie is when it comes to, meta wise. That being said, Emilie is not a bad character in any way. In fact, she is one of my more enjoyable character to play, because she is one of the few sub DPS Dendro character that deals really good damage off field, while she tactically does requires you to be in in a pyro team, but at the end of the day, pooling for Emilie is basically you surrounding yourself with a burning reaction team comps, which is kinda nice if you are looking for a different type of team comps for you guys to play around with. Obviously, the current endgame content does favor Emilie because the boss is technically weak against burning team reactions, so definitely Emilie is going to shine. However, when it comes to burning team as a whole, if you do have a rather invested burning team, I don't think there are too many bosses out there that can actually resist that kind of team for you, because for example, if you do have a very good Kinich and then you have an Emilie on your team, like the rest is just basically going to be a Bennett and Xiangling if you have them to spare, and then you already have an absolutely amazing team that are going to be shredding your enemy's HP very fast. So that's the good thing about Emilie, but then obviously again, she's not really too popular, and also she kind of would need to have a bit of investment. Her signature does make quite a bit of a difference for her, though if you have any other 5-star polearm options like the Jade Spear, she's still going to be able to make use of it quite decently, especially if you do have a DPS Emilie. But then again, her popularity is not going to be high, but if you are considering her, I just want to let you know that I really like Emilie. She is a valuable character, and if you make her work, she's still going to do a very nice number. Now, touching on to the official banner themselves, we have Yao Yao, Xiangling, and Ian-san. Well, Xiangling, I don't think I have to discuss too much. I'm pretty sure like 90% of you have already got a C6 Xiangling at this point, because honestly, like Xiangling Bennett has technically got quite a lot of banners recently. So yeah, if you're in the minority of having got Xiangling, I do wish you good luck getting her. Yao Yao, it's an okay character. It's not like she's bad, but it's not that she's really too good either. However, if you do find herself in the right team, she has decent Dendro application, she has good healing for your team. Obviously, she can work on both Mavuika and Emilie team if you do want it that way. A bit of a nice constellation for a boost here and there, but then the amount of people that actively use Yao Yao nowadays isn't really too high. However, I can still make her work depending on which team comps that I am building, and I have to say that she is not that bad compared to, some of the other 4-star character that we technically predicted in our 4-star prediction video. So that's like the worst case scenario when it comes to this banner. And then obviously we have Ian-san. Yes, always will be one of the best 4-star to be available on the banner, of course. So yeah, it's a good thing that Ian-san is coming back quite early. I think she's only like 3 patches before she has this rerun, and overall this is a good thing because Ian-san is just an amazing character regardless of however you see it or not. More constellation for Ian-san is obviously a recommendation all the way up until C6 if you really do want to invest into her. So overall guys, this banner is basically really good, especially if you guys are pulling on it. Like even if you guys are not actively trying to get for the 5-star character, trying to get either more Xiangling constellation and potentially get Ian-san's constellation is rather good. And if you do pull on the Mavuika banner and you do lose a 5-star, you still potentially get a Mavuika. So if it's a C0 Mavuika or if it's a C1 Mavuika, overall it's still going to be a win for your account. As for the weapon banner, well, yes, overall if you are going for the 5-star weapon of the character themselves, especially for Emilie, the Lumidos, and then you potentially lose to Mavuika's Claymore, then it is going to be a good thing for you guys to try and go for. But obviously it's the other way around. If you're going for the Claymore and you potentially lose to the Lumidos, is actually not too good, because overall the Lumidos is just for Emilie at the current point. It's rather hard for you to make proper use of it on many other polearm character. So yes, this banner for you guys to try and go for Mavuika weapon is technically worse than last time, because last time was Silali. So really do think about that. And as for the 4-star, I just have to say it isn't really that good. Like the bow, the rain slasher, the flute, those 3 weapons aren't really too popular nowadays. They do find themselves in maybe some usage, but the only thing that is the best right now is going to be the sacrificial fragment, and that is going to be on a catalyst. And honestly speaking, there aren't too many catalyst users that have been using the sac catalyst at the current point. You can use it on any of the characters that you want, but it's actually pretty rare to be a best option option for your catalyst character many of the time, and the Dragon's Bane sometimes is good, and I think that there have been many other options rather than the Dragon's Bane nowadays. So overall, the weapon banner right now, we only have the Mavuika Claymore that is rather good. So yeah, if you really want her Claymore, I really wish you good luck going for it. But other than that, the value of the weapon banner isn't too high for this banner, which leads us to one of the more important parts of the video as usual, and that's where we're going to be discussing on the future character that are potentially coming in 5.8 and later on as well. Now, as we already know, Inefa is going to be coming, and as from some of the pre-release information that we know, she is going to be a character that boosts electro charge reaction, turning it into technically lunar charge, like how Nilou does with Bloom. Overall, the idea of it, I think is kind of nice. Like it's similar to how you would play, you know, Emilie being a burning team. You've got Nilou in the Bloom team. You've got like Chevreuse in those kind of restricted overload team, and now you're going to have Inefa being a boost for electro charge. Now, electro charge has never been too good of a reaction, but hopefully Inefa is going to shine a bit of a bright light to the team building whenever she is released. So for me personally, I'm actually quite excited for her, because usually I like playing around with different team comps in the game at this point, because yeah, team building is just technically the only thing that we can do at this point anyway. But I know that many of you technically aren't too much of a fan for Inefa, which is where, you know, some of the rerun characters that are potentially coming back are most likely going to be rather important for you, and it's expected to be Mulanni, Chaska, and Citlali at the current point. Now, the brightest character of the bunch is definitely going to be Citlali, and obviously she is, because she's still an absolutely amazing character that will find herself in many of the team comps, and I'm pretty sure that's still going to stay the case throughout the 6.0 patches, and as well potentially going into, you know, Snezhnaya as well. So yeah, right, if you guys are saving up for Citlali, do consider your Primogems. And Mulanni and Chaska aren't too much of an importance character. Mulanni still does really great damage, right? It's not like her ranking has gone down or anything. She's still an absolutely amazing character whenever you use her in the right condition. And then Chaska as well. I don't think Chaska is going to be actively as good as Mulanni when it comes to damage, but in terms of how many variety of team comp that Chaska can do, and yeah, it's not like Chaska does bad damage or anything. Chaska actually do good damage, but at the end of the day, they are still DPS character that, yeah, is still going to be a consideration for many of us at the end of the day. So overall, Citlali is still going to be the more important character. Guys, I think that's everything I have to say regarding the video today. I hope that it was helpful to you. If you do have any question, leave it down in the comment section. I or some other lovely Genshin player will get to you there. If you're trying to pull for the character or saving up, yet you are finding it a little bit hard and thinking about swiping, don't forget to check out Loot Bar, as I'm sure they'll be very valuable to you. With that, I wish you a super day, and I'll catch you on my next video.